Coming up, the Prime Minister says news of BEC's restructuring is imminent. And Thursday was National Report Card Day. Did you collect your child's report card? The Director of Education speaks to the issue. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LeDaunne Davis, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, the long-awaited reform of the Bahamas Electricity Corporation is imminent. That, according to the Prime Minister, who says reliable service and lower costs is the aim. Here's Scieska Adderley.
By year's end, BEC customers will be able to benefit from the Power Secure partnership. Now, the government is in the process of forming the new utilities company. Prime Minister the Right Honorable Christie also confirmed to our news team they're in the advanced stages of negotiations with Power Secure as they finalize a transitional agreement.
We're in the process of getting the new name for that company, and so we're moving rapidly to a conclusion that will result, hopefully, in Bahamian people seeing progress very quickly.
Since the government announced in May that the North Carolina-based company will manage BEC, the Prime Minister revealed how a, quote, massive team has been brought in with the sole purpose of examining BEC's operations. The nation's chief noted that a lot of things will be happening next month as they move ahead to conclude negotiations.
We know that this summer is a very important summer, and even though I think 40 megawatts of power have been added by BEC, there's still the challenge of the machines staying up during this summer, and as you can see, it's going to be a hot summer. And so the idea is, as we are transitioning, to be able to secure for Bahamians a continuous power supply and to minimize as much as possible or eliminate the outages.
Mr. Christie also believes its partnership with Power Secure will eventually lead to the implementation of renewables, something he says couldn't come soon enough for residents, especially family islanders.
The sooner we reach the islands, the better, because they pay an inordinate cost for electricity. We have not been able to integrate into the mix solar and wind and whatever else that is available to us, like wind energy and wave energy. And so I'm looking forward, therefore, to this mix.
Power Secure's management contract will initially cover a 5-year period. Meantime, the Prime Minister says the government is ensuring that it succeeds at properly integrating Bahamian leadership into BEC's new management mix. Scieska Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Scieska. Education officials boasting a successful National Report Card Day earlier this week. Director of Education Lionel telling ZNS News on Friday that at least 90% of parents came to schools to collect report cards for their children. He says it shows that more parents are becoming involved in their children's education.
If it weren't the parent, it would have been a relative, equally pleased about that too, because it simply means that most of the children who had report cards to be handed out, they had someone who came and collected and heard the teacher respond to the questions that were asked of them about the children. And so that's very good for me.
In the past, Sands says the response to National Report Card Day had not been as good as it is now, and he credits the communication between teachers and parents on the importance of report card collection for the improvement.
One of the things we've been doing over the last several months is we've been actually communicating with parents and highlighting the importance of collecting report cards, the importance of parents being involved in the lives of their children in school. And it's catching, not only here, but it's catching on Family Islands, it's catching in Grand Bahama. And so we'll continue to do that because we won't stop until we have 100%. We don't want any report card to remain at the school at the end of any given day when we have report cards being issued.
The Bahamas prepares for an historic educational meeting which will attract delegates from some 53 countries, discussing issues that will impact the future of education. The annual Commonwealth Conference of Education Ministers Forum begins at the Atlantis Resort tomorrow, with several hundred delegates and Commonwealth ministers in attendance. The role and contribution of students in development, enhancing the outcome of education, and effective pathways to quality education will be among the topics discussed. It is expected that the Commonwealth will issue a clear statement on the way forward in education for the next 15 years during the session. This is the first time the meeting is being held in the Bahamas, and Director of Education Lionel notes the importance for the Bahamas.
It's significant to us because as a part of the Caribbean countries, especially the Commonwealth Caribbean countries, we have an opportunity now to be a part of whatever the decision makings are that the Commonwealth ministers would make. You'd be reminded that the Millennium Goals will be determined. What is the way forward for Commonwealth ministries of education in the Commonwealth countries? And so some of the challenges that we face here and some of the things that we're doing here that's innovative, other countries would see it. And so that's so important it is for us to have it here, because we'll be a part of whatever the decision making is with respect to the Commonwealth Ministers of Education. Our own minister will serve as the chair.
Meanwhile, on Friday, several delegates were given a tour of the new critical care block at the Princess Margaret Hospital, including the intensive care unit, laboratory, central sterilization area, recovery theater, and the neonatal ward. PMH's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Glen Beneby, welcomed the Commonwealth's Head of Health and Education Advisory Committee, Dr. Joanna Nurse, a featured speaker at the conference.
It gives me particular pleasure to accompany her on this tour to our critical care block. You know, we are very pleased and proud of this block as the leading critical care block within the Caribbean region.
As part of this event, before it starts next week, I've kindly been invited by the Ministry of Health here in the Bahamas to look at how the two sectors link, how they contribute and how they benefit to each other's agendas. So how health benefits education and how education benefits health, as well as framing how that influences and supports the delivery of the new universal health coverage policy.
For the Bahamas to be leader in healthcare, Dr. Gerry Eijkesmans says everyone should be able to afford to see a doctor when they are ill. She says the Bahamas is about to take this step with the implementation of national health insurance in January 2016. The Pan American Health Organization representative for the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands underscored the importance of universal healthcare at a panel discussion on universal health coverage on Friday.
There will be no money in between the person that needs the doctor and the doctor. There will be no obstacle that's financial. That needs to be eliminated. The second thing that needs to happen is to strengthen the preventative care, like screening for cancer and heart disease, etc., into every healthcare plan and make it available to everybody who normally would not get it. And if you need to go beyond your health centers, if you need to go to your malls or to your events to do the testing, let's do it.
She says people must also stop seeing health as something that begins in the doctor's office, but realize it is created in the home and various communities. Eijkesmans says more focused attention must be placed on prevention and maintaining good health instead of seeking a cure. While noting the linkages between health and education, she shared a recent PAHO Global School Health Survey, which highlighted that nearly 45% of adolescents between 13 and 15 are overweight and more than 20% are obese.
The more we see the problem of health this way, the more opportunities we have to improve health. And scientists have found, and every day there's more evidence, that the conditions in which we live and work have an enormous impact on our health long before we see a doctor. There's some best practices globally. For example, schoolyard, backyard gardening initiatives, to get kids familiar again with vegetables, fruits, and how to prepare them, etc. And produce their own food for healthy lunches. Very important is an enforced policy around sugar consumption.
And still to come, police need your help in locating 2 people. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition.